There's something about the smell of coffee that makes even hard days feel a little more bearable. I've been thinking about that lately, about how we create rituals around small comforts, how a cup of coffee becomes more than just caffeine and warmth. It becomes a pause, a breath, a moment when the world slows down, just enough to let you remember who you are beneath all the things you're required to be. The Starbucks on 4th and Market has been my morning stop for 2 years now. Same time, same order, same small window of peace before I have to walk into my office and become someone who has all the answers. My name is Maya. I'm 29. I work in marketing at a tech company downtown. On paper, my life looks successful. Good job. Nice apartment. The kind of trajectory that's supposed to make you feel accomplished. But most days, I just feel tired. Tired of pretending I have it together. Tired of performing confidence I don't always feel. Tired of being the version of myself that everyone expects, rather than the version that actually exists. The Starbucks is where I get to just be. Just another customer in line. Just someone ordering a latte. No performance required. That's where I was 6 months ago when it happened. It was a Tuesday morning, September, I think. The air had just started to turn cool. That first hint of fall that makes you want to wrap your hands around something warm. I was in line, scrolling through my phone, half awake, waiting my turn. There were maybe 8 people ahead of me. The usual morning crowd. People in business clothes, students with laptops, a mother with a stroller, gently rocking it back and forth. And there was him, the man who would change everything, though I didn't know it yet. He was standing behind me in line, tall, maybe mid-30s, wearing a gray coat and glasses. He had the kind of face that seemed kind, gentle, the type of person who probably apologized when other people bumped into him. I didn't really notice him. Not at first. He was just another person in line, another stranger in the daily choreography of city life. That's when I heard the voice. Maya? Maya Rodriguez? I turned, and my stomach dropped. Brad Thornton, from high school. 11 years ago, but it felt like yesterday. Like trauma does, like some wounds do, staying fresh no matter how much time passes. He looked the same smirk, same confidence, same way of taking up space like the world owed him room. I thought that was you, he said, stepping closer. Wow, it's been forever. I tried to smile, tried to find words. Hi, Brad. You look different, he said. And the way he said it, I knew he didn't mean it as a compliment. Guess we all change, huh? Some more than others. There it was. That particular cruelty wrapped in casual observation. The thing he'd been good at in high school. Making you feel small while pretending to be friendly. I'm just here for coffee, I said, turning back around, hoping he'd take the hint. He didn't. Still struggling with your weight, I see, he said. Louder now. Loud enough that people were starting to turn. You know, I could give you my trainer's number. Did wonders for me. Of course, it requires discipline, but I'm fine, I said quietly. My face was burning. My hands were shaking. I wanted to disappear. I'm just trying to help, Brad said. I mean, you work in tech, right? Image matters in that world. You want people to take you seriously. The line had gone quiet. People were watching now, not helping, just watching. The way people do when cruelty unfolds in public and everyone decides it's not their problem. I felt 15 years old again, standing in the high school cafeteria while Brad made jokes about my body, while people laughed, while I learned to make myself smaller, to take up less space, to apologize for existing in a body that didn't meet someone else's standards. "Leave me alone," I said. My voice was too small, too weak. "Hey, I'm just being honest," Brad said. "Someone needs to tell you. Better a friend than..." She said, "Leave her alone." The voice came from behind me, calm, quiet, but with steel underneath. The man in the gray coat, the stranger I hadn't really noticed. He'd stepped forward, placed himself between me and Brad. "I'm sorry, who are you?" Brad said, his smirk faltering slightly. "Someone who heard her ask you to leave her alone," the stranger said. "So I'm going to suggest you do that." "This is a private conversation," Brad said. "No," the stranger said. "This is harassment, and it's going to stop now." Something shifted in the air. The stranger wasn't loud, wasn't aggressive, but there was something about him, something that made Brad take a step back. "Whatever, man," Brad said. "I was just catching up with an old friend." "You weren't," the stranger said. "You were bullying someone in public, and you're going to leave now, or I'm going to ask the manager to remove you." Brad looked around, at the crowd watching, at the barista who had her hand on the phone, at the stranger who stood there, calm and immovable. "She's not worth it anyway," Brad muttered, and then he left. Walked out of the Starbucks with his shoulders tight and his ego bruised. The stranger turned to me. "Are you okay?" I wasn't. I was shaking, trying not to cry, trying to hold together in public, the way I'd learned to do a long time ago. "I'm fine," I said. "Thank you. You didn't have to." "Yes, I did," he said simply. "No one should have to endure that." The line moved forward. It was my turn to order. I stepped up to the counter, trying to remember what I usually got, trying to make my voice work. "Grande latte," I managed. "I'll get this," the stranger said from behind me. "And whatever she wants to eat. Please." "You don't have to," I started. "I know," he said. "I want to." He paid for my coffee and a croissant. Hadn't asked for. Didn't make a big deal of it. Just did it quietly and stepped aside to wait for his own order. When my drink came up, I grabbed it and turned to thank him again. To get his name. To understand why a complete stranger would do this. But he was already leaving, walking out the door with his coffee, disappearing into the morning crowd. I stood there holding my latte and croissant, feeling something I couldn't quite name. Gratitude, yes, but also something deeper. A sense that I'd just witnessed something rare. Someone who'd chosen kindness without expecting anything in return. Who'd defended a stranger because it was the right thing to do. I went back to that Starbucks the next morning, and the next, looking for him, though I didn't admit it to myself, wanting to thank him properly, to tell him what it had meant, but I never saw him again. Weeks passed, then months. Life moved forward the way it does. Work got busier. The seasons changed. Fall became winter, became spring. But I thought about him sometimes. The stranger in the gray coat. The man who'd stepped between me and my past and said no more. I thought about him every time I walked into that Starbucks and didn't have to feel afraid. Every time someone was kind to me and I let myself believe I deserved it. Every time I stood up for myself in small ways I'd never quite managed before. 6 months passed. Then something happened that brought it all back. The company I work for has an annual charity gala. Big event, important clients, everyone dressed up and trying to make connections. I usually dread it, the small talk, the performance of being successful and confident, and not at all the person who was publicly humiliated in a coffee shop 6 months ago. But this year, my boss insisted, You've been doing great work, Maya. People need to know who you are. Make connections. Be visible. So I went. Wore a dress I'd bought specifically for the occasion. Did my hair and makeup. Showed up prepared to smile and network and pretend I belonged in rooms like this. The venue was beautiful. Hotel ballroom. Chandeliers. Tables with flowers and wine glasses and place cards. A stage at the front where speakers would talk about the charity we were supporting, a foundation that provided mental health services to underserved communities. I found my table, started making small talk with colleagues, tried to relax into the evening. That's when he walked to the podium, the stranger from Starbucks. I stopped breathing, literally stopped breathing as I watched him adjust the microphone. As he looked out over the crowd with that same gentle, serious expression I remembered from 6 months ago. "Good evening," he said. "My name is Dr. James Chen. I'm the founder and director of the Riverside Mental Health Foundation." The room applauded. I just stared. He began to speak about the importance of mental health services, about how many people suffer in silence, about the work his foundation does to provide therapy and support to people who can't afford it. "I started this foundation 8 years ago," he said, "after my sister took her own life. She'd been struggling with depression for years, but she was too ashamed to ask for help, too afraid of being judged, too convinced that her pain made her weak or broken, or less than." His voice caught slightly. He paused, breathed, continued. "She was brilliant, funny, kind, but she couldn't see herself the way others saw her, couldn't believe she was worthy of help. And by the time we understood how much she was suffering, it was too late." The room was silent, the kind of silence that holds grief and recognition. "Since then," he continued, "I've dedicated my life to making sure other people don't suffer alone, to creating spaces where people can be honest about their pain without fear of judgment, to reminding people that struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human." He talked about the programs they offered, the therapists they employed, the sliding scale fees that meant no one was turned away for lack of money, the crisis hotlines, the support groups, the outreach to schools and communities, and places where people were hurting in silence. "Mental health isn't just about treating illness," he said. "It's about creating a world where people feel worthy of care, where vulnerability is met with compassion instead of cruelty, where we defend each other instead of tearing each other down." I was crying, quietly, trying not to let anyone see, but tears were streaming down my face as I listened to him speak. As I understood, finally, why he'd done what he did that morning in Starbucks. After the speech, there was a reception, people mingling, networking. I stood in a corner, trying to decide if I should approach him, what I would even say. He found me first. "Hi," he said, appearing beside me with 2 glasses of wine. "You looked like you might need this." I took the glass, stared at him. "You probably don't remember me." "The Starbucks on 4th and Market," he said immediately. 6 months ago, September, that man was harassing you about your weight. You remember?" "Of course I remember." "Why?" I asked. "Why did you help me? You didn't know me. It wasn't your problem." He was quiet for a moment. Then, "My sister, Emily, the one I spoke about tonight. She struggled with an eating disorder most of her life. Spent years being told her body was wrong, that she was taking up too much space or not enough space, that she needed to be smaller, prettier, more acceptable." He looked down at his wine. It destroyed her, not just the disorder itself, but the constant commentary, the way people felt entitled to judge her body, to offer unsolicited advice, to make her feel like her worth was determined by her appearance. "I'm sorry," I said. "I saw that man doing to you what countless people did to Emily," he said. And I thought about all the times no one stepped in. No one told those people to stop. No one defended her. And I decided that if I ever had the chance to be that person for someone else, I would take it. I was crying again. "Thank you. I never got to thank you properly. You left before I could." "I didn't do it for thanks," he said gently. "I did it because it was right. Because you deserved to be defended. Because no one should have to endure that kind of cruelty alone." We talked for an hour about his sister, about my history with Brad, about the years I'd spent trying to make myself smaller, quieter, less visible, about the ways we internalize cruelty and carry it with us long after the people who hurt us are gone. "Have you ever talked to anyone about it?" he asked. "Professionally, I mean." "No," I admitted. "I always thought it wasn't bad enough, that other people had real trauma, and I was just, I don't know, overreacting. That's what trauma does," he said. "It convinces you that your pain doesn't count, that you don't deserve help. But that's not true. Pain is pain. Suffering is suffering. And you deserve support just as much as anyone else." He handed me a card. "This is for the foundation. We have therapists who specialize in body image issues, trauma from bullying, all of it. If you ever want to talk to someone, please call. And if cost is a concern, we work on a sliding scale." No one is turned away. I took the card, looked at it, felt something shift inside me. "I've spent so long thinking I was fine," I said, telling myself I got over it. But seeing Brad that day, I realized I haven't gotten over it. I've just gotten better at pretending. "That's okay," James said. "Pretending is survival. But there's a difference between surviving and healing. You've been surviving. Maybe it's time to heal." I called the number the next week. Started seeing a therapist named Dr. Sarah, who specialized in body image and trauma. Started finally, after 29 years, to talk about the ways I'd been hurt. The ways I'd hurt myself. The ways I'd learned to disappear. It's been 6 months now since that gala. A year since the incident at Starbucks. I'm still in therapy. Still working through layers of pain I'd packed away so carefully, I'd almost forgotten they were there. But something's different. I walk into that Starbucks now, and I don't make myself small. Don't apologize for existing. Don't scan the crowd for potential threats. I order my coffee. I take up space. I exist in my body without shame. James and I have become friends. We meet for coffee sometimes. Not at that Starbucks. Somewhere quieter. We talk about his work, about my therapy, about his sister, and the ways we carry our lost ones with us. Last week, he asked if I'd be willing to speak at next year's gala, to share my story, to talk about how one moment of intervention changed everything. "I don't know if I can," I said. "You don't have to decide now," he said, "but think about it. Because your story matters. Because there are other people out there who are suffering the way you were, who think they're alone, who think their pain doesn't count. And hearing from you might be exactly what they need to ask for help." I'm thinking about it. About standing in front of people and being vulnerable. About naming the hurt out loud instead of carrying it silently. It terrifies me. But maybe that means it's important. Maybe the things that scare us most are the ones we most need to do. Yesterday, something happened that felt like a sign. I was at Starbucks, my Starbucks, 4th and Market, standing in line with my usual order ready. A young woman was in front of me, teenager, maybe 17. She ordered and then started counting out change, counting and recounting, her face getting red as she realized she didn't have enough. "I'm sorry," she said to the barista. "I thought I had more. Just the small coffee, please, not the food." I stepped forward. "I've got this. The coffee and the food. Whatever she wants." The girl looked at me, surprised, suspicious. "Why?" "Because someone did it for me once," I said, "and it mattered more than he probably knew. So I'm doing it for you. No strings, no expectations. Just someone who has a few extra dollars, helping someone who needs it." She accepted, thanked me quietly, took her coffee and croissant and left. The man behind me in line, a stranger I'd never seen before, said, "That was kind of you." "Someone taught me," I said, "that we're supposed to defend each other, help each other. That small acts of kindness matter more than we think." He nodded, smiled, and we stood there in line, two strangers connected by the understanding that we're all just trying to make it through the day with some dignity intact. This evening, I'm sitting in my apartment. The window doesn't face a brick wall anymore. I moved to a place with light, with a view of the park, with room to breathe. I'm writing my speech for the gala, trying to find words for what happened, for how a stranger's intervention became the beginning of my healing, for how defending someone takes courage, but being defended teaches you that you're worth defending. It's hard, putting pain into words, making private suffering public. But I keep thinking about what James said, about how my story might help someone else, how being brave enough to be vulnerable might give someone else permission to do the same. The truth is, I don't know if I would have started therapy without that day at Starbucks, without James stepping in, without seeing him at the gala and understanding that his kindness wasn't random, it was intentional, born from loss and turned into purpose. The truth is, we save each other, not always in obvious ways, not always knowing we're doing it, but in small moments of choosing compassion over comfort, of stepping forward instead of staying silent, of defending strangers because it's right. There's something healing in that understanding, don't you think? In learning that we don't have to be perfect or have all the answers. We just have to be willing to see each other's pain and say, "I see you. You matter. You deserve better." That's what James did for me, and what I'm trying to do for others now. Small acts, daily choices, moments where I choose kindness over indifference, connection over isolation, courage over fear. The speech is almost finished. I'll give it at the gala in 3 months. I'll stand in front of hundreds of people and tell them about the worst moment of my recent memory, about shame and trauma and all the ways we hurt each other. But I'll also tell them about healing, about the stranger who defended me, about the foundation that gave me space to process pain I'd been carrying for years, about the slow, difficult work of learning to believe I'm worth caring for. I'll tell them about the young woman at Starbucks and the small act of paying forward kindness, about how we create ripples we may never see but that matter more than we know. I'll tell them that 6 months can change everything, that a single moment of intervention can become the beginning of transformation, that we're all carrying secret pain and we all need someone brave enough to defend us when we can't defend ourselves. The light is fading now. Time to make dinner. Time to exist in this body and this life with a little more gentleness than I used to. Time to practice the radical act of treating myself the way James treated me that morning, as someone worthy of defense. Tomorrow, I'll go back to Starbucks, order my coffee, take up space, exist without apology. And if I see someone being hurt, I'll step forward. I'll be the stranger who defends them, the person who says no more when cruelty unfolds in public. Because that's how we heal. Not alone, not in isolation, but together, defending each other, seeing each other, reminding each other that we're worth fighting for. That's the secret James taught me. Not through his words at the gala, but through his actions at Starbucks. That love isn't always romantic or dramatic. Sometimes it's just standing between a stranger and their pain. Just saying, you don't have to face this alone. That's what we're built for. Not performance or perfection, but presence, connection, the simple, powerful act of showing up for each other. And maybe that's enough, more than enough. Maybe that's everything.